Okay, I have 7 o'clock. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for this chance here to gather as a community, Father. Lord, I ask that you be with us today in the decisions, the discussions we get to have here, Father, that you lead and guide us in your way, Father. We know that your way is the best. You know what is best for us, Father. Just open our hearts up to trust in you, Lord. Love you. Thank you for this day. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone for coming to the meeting tonight. This is probably the biggest show of community interaction that I've seen. However, I do want to read something to you so everyone understands the rules and the decorum that we're under tonight. I'm reading out of the manual that the League of Kansas Municipalities puts out to the governing body. For the public record, on page 51, it states that the public comment part of the proceeding should be separate from governing body discussion of the issues. It is important, the chair, being me, prevent dialogue from occurring between members of the public and members of the governing body. The public is y'all, this is the governing body. Public comment should be heard, but members of the council or commission should not engage in back and forth discussion with members of the public during governing body proceedings. That said, this podium is the only recognized place to be speaking. There are only 4 people that are allowed to be speaking according to the agenda once we pass it. They will be limited to 3 minutes apiece, except for Mr. Day, who is going to be giving us a briefing on our insurance. And there will be a time where we will recognize any citizen that would like to speak their mind. But you also will be limited to 3 minutes. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call for the approval of the agenda as written.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I've got a motion by Betsy, second by Linda to approve the agenda. No additions or deletions. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Minutes from the November 18th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Got a motion by Linda, a second by Ernie to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Treasurer's reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion by Betsy, a second by Justin. I heard him first. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Treasurer's report passed. Municipal court report.
Motion approved.
I got a motion by Ernie,
Second.
second by Justin. All those in favor of the court report? Opposed? Motion passes. Warrant register.
Motion approved.
Got a motion by Ernie, second by Linda. All those in favor of passing the warrant register?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we need to close the regular meeting now and open up the budget amendment hearing scheduled for tonight. Counselor, you should have had a insert in your package. what we're
The
doing?
last meeting we had it.
Is there any discussion?
Make a motion to approve the budget amendment.
Second.
I got a motion by Betsy, a second by Ernie to pass the budget amendment. I'll need a roll call vote.
Billy? Aye. Coates? Wolf? Seaman? Morgan? Yes. Nate?
Yes.
Thank you.
So you're signing and three of them.
And the budget amendment passes unanimously.
Online. Yeah. Thank you.
I make a motion to close the budget hearing.
Second.
Let me get it in all signatures first, please.
Online, for all three to send, I just have three.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor by Betsy to close the hearing on the budget amendment. I have a second by Ernie, I thought, okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. We reopen the regular session now. First visitor to be recognized will be Mr. Scott Day from Prudent Claims Insurance. Welcome, Scott. Good to see you.
Good evening. It's good to be here. I have to say, when I came in the room, I was pretty excited to see so many people interested in hearing about your benefits.
However,
I'm guessing that's not the case.
Benefits.
Yes, we put in front of you a packet that looks like this, on the health insurance benefits. And the first page is a comparison page. And the first column of that is your current benefit year. That's the current premiums. And I highlight the total cost. I highlight you, the employer's cost. And at the very bottom, I illustrate the cost to each of the employees, how much it's going to cost them. The second column is the renewal. And the first thing I'm pleased to tell you is there is no rate increase on your health insurance plan this year. You're going to see those numbers match up side by side with your current plan. So it's very good news that we have no health insurance increase for the city or for the employees. Now, I'm down here a little later than normal because we tried to quote out we took the group out for quoting, and we had all the employees answer health questionnaires, and that process took a while. I just finally got final quotes in last week, and out of all the quoting that we did, I mean, we were denied by 2 Blue Cross plans. I had several companies flat deny you. A couple gave us quotes, but they were very high. And then I included on here a quote from Trustmark Company, which is competitive. On the annual, it's about $1,000 less than your current. And I'm not recommending that. I was telling Amy earlier that for me to recommend us to switch from this medical expense plan that we're on, it would have to be a lot more savings than $1,000. And I'll point that reason out here in a second. But I did want to put it in there because we did answer health questionnaires and we did get one competitive quote back, and it was from Trustmark. But I'm not here to recommend a switch to Trustmark. I'm recommending we stay with the current Blue Cross plan under the medical expense reimbursement program with Freedom Claims Management. That is my recommendation. Over on the right side is your dental. Your dental did go up quite a bit. I mean, it went up 20%. And normally that sends alarm bells to me and I go out quoting for you for other dental plans. But as I told Amy, I can't touch those rates now, even with the 20%. I mean, you are so well under the market with these rates. I mean, we'd have to get 20% after 20% until you were up into the 30s before I could get competitive. So I'm recommending, even with the big increase there on the dental, that you stay with your current Blue Cross Blue Shield dental. And then the last column is your vision program, and those rates stayed the same. There's no increase. So the good news is, out of your big three benefits, we basically have no rate increase on the health, a slight increase on the dental, even at 20%, and no increase on the vision. I mean, that is absolutely very good news. Now then, I'll take you just a little bit of a history lesson. This next page shows you the proposal from last year. It's great. And the reason I show this is, I want you to look at over here on the far right, your claims account. It was at $19,000 last year. With the monies that we were putting in out of the premiums, we were gonna put in $42,000 total. And you'll see this percent over here, that's 46.35% of your liability. That's a good number. I always wanted it 40 or above. Because I have seen groups have a 40% spend year, and so I always want that number to be above 40, and we were last year at 46%. Now, if you'll flip on to the next page, I don't know, anybody, a new council member?
We got seven.
Okay, what we do on this page is, we're doing a medical expense reimbursement plan. We put money out of premiums into a claims account to pay for employee claims. And the employee benefit is down here in the blue. And it's a Cadillac Ferrari plan. I mean, it's a $500 deductible, and they have $1,500 co-insurance, and their out-of-pocket maximum is $2,000 on a hospital stay. That's excellent. That's above 95% of the group plans that are out there. The city, though, is paying, because we have a Blue Cross plan here in the black bar, and it has a $7,100 deductible. So Blue Cross doesn't pay for anything. It's the employees paying their part and the city paying their part out of the claims account. And that's $5,100 per employee, per person. Okay? So that's what we're doing, and then I illustrate it here on this next page. This is the rubber meets the road page. But the Blue Cross, it went up, but we were fortunate because we've had some turnover and we lost older employees, replacing them with younger employees, and the Blue Cross plan is an age-based plan. So the younger your employees, the smaller the premiums. I mean, it's the same plan, but if they're 25 years old, Blue Cross might charge them $400. And if you're 63 years old, Blue Cross is charging us $700 because it's based on their age. So we average it, and the average did go up, but because of the turmoil, it wasn't a huge increase to us. Okay? So those new numbers go there in the umbrella. We're putting less in the reserves because I didn't have to raise the rates. I mean, you'll see there, that's a 0% increase. And we're putting less money into the claims account next year, 12,000 versus last year it was 23,000. But if you remember, the claims account was 19,000 and it grew to 22,000 plus. So that growth offset the Blue Cross rate increase. So, and if you look down here, yes, we're putting less money into the premiums, but we have a bigger claims account. We're at 34,000, but look at the percentage. We're now up to 48%. We were at 46% last year. So the plan, even with the rate increase, is in better standing than last year. And that's what I do. I tweak your rates to get these where they need to be. And I didn't have to do any tweaking this year. The claims account offset it. So that's the method to the madness. Why you're getting a no rate increase even though Blue Cross went up. Okay, and then the next page, I normally don't print this one out, but I needed to this year because down here, this renewal fee, it went up again. This is the second year in a row. Freedom Claims has raised that rate. So, Amy, you'll pay $550 on your first January invoice for that, where I think last year it was like $350, I believe. But this is 2 years in a row they've raised that on us, so I wanted to point that out. And then the next page, I'm not gonna go through it, but you're paying money out on claims. I feel like you should see where the money's going. The first page is benefits. So like doctor's office visits, prescription claims, emergency room visits, lab work. It's divided out by the types of services. And I use this page because it's a one pager and I can put the projection on there. But you'll see after 9 months through September, we had already spent $17,831. So I prorate that out for 3 more months, and we're projected to spend $23,774. And I like to show you that because I just showed you how much money we're putting into the claims account. I mean, I want you to have an idea of how much we spend on claims. So this year, and that was better than we've had. I mean, we've had some 30,000 years. So we did have a better claims year this year. The next claim, I'm not going to explain it except to say it shows you where they went. It tells you what doctor, what hospital, what emergency room. So that's what those claims are. The next page, I'm just showing it to prove that I took you out for quote, but this was the most competitive quote from Trustmark, which I'm not recommending. And then your dental renewal is the next page. And that did go up a bunch. It was about 20%. But those rates are still very good, so I'm still recommending you renew that. And then the next page is your vision. It's the pretty blue and orange. That was no increase, so I'm recommending you renew that as well. And then the last pages, a few years ago by federal law, they require us brokers to show each of our clients how we're compensated. So this is a compensation disclosure. My compensation is shown at the bottom of this first page. So I'm just here to show you how I am paid. And that is it. So my main recommendation is that you renew your current Blue Cross plan to continue with Freedom Claims Management, and that you renew your Blue Cross Dental and renew your Emeritus Vision. Any questions?
It's probably not the year.
There it is. My insurance didn't do that.
I've got groups that went up 30%.
I'll make a motion to
Second.
review our claims that we had the previous year.
I've got a motion by Justin, a second by Ernie to accept as stated, the day insurance. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you,
All
Scott.
right, thank you. You
This
guys
was a
do it.
lot thinner this year, I noticed too.
Yes.
Thank you. Brett Darnell's up next.
I just wanted to come give you guys kind of an update on the tournament we had out at Elmore's. Raised about $1,300. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but we've been selling banners to, local businesses, hang up on the fence, kinda like what we used to have out here at the high school. Trying to get everybody involved in this, that's kind of our goal, and then, of course, raising money on top of it. You can see your name up, see my name up there, a couple other businesses, and then some other businesses, why am I not up there? Just kind of getting everybody back involved in sports in the community. With Black Friday, we were able to buy half of the lights that we planned on, so we're looking about getting about a third of them. Black Friday came, lights were on sale, jumped on that, so that worked out great. We're still a long ways. I've got a list of projects here, but the long and short of it, we're planning another tournament for the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the 21st of December. So would you be willing to let us use the field again for that?
Make that motion.
I'll say
Thought what better day of the year to raise awareness for not having lights than the shortest day of the year?
Are you gonna move the snow?
If, we'll play that by ear.
I think I had a motion by Ernie and a second by Justin to approve the 21 December tournament for the Recs Commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
While you got me here, got any questions for me?
I don't. I'm very, very happy that you were successful though, and maybe you can wrap.
I got a question for you, Brett. So, longevity wise, what we're trying to do, or you're trying to do here with this is, put lights up so then we can extend the play. And then we can extend the amount of players and the amount of teams, right?
Yeah, cause like you run the Little League.
Right?
You can use it for a few games in the
Yeah.
evening, can't really use it for those later games.
Yeah.
We are limited to pretty much 4 teams, cause it took all day for, what we had was just 4 teams.
Right.
We get lights, now we're looking at 8 teams, doubling the money, being able to, have some tournaments where we give cash prizes, get more people here. We brought about 50, 60 people from out of town for this tournament.
Yeah, and I estimated there was 100 people there.
Yeah,
On any given Sunday, there's what?
20.
More?
Yeah.
Or, so, yeah.
So, yeah, it's
An
a good
ongoing
thing. Glad you guys are behind us on that, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for hitting that up too,
Thanks,
Brett.
Brett.
Okay, next we have Tammy Basham.
She's not here. She's in Mexico.
Okay. Mr. Tim Gilbert.
You all know why I'm here. No one able to make it 2 weeks ago, had some problems go on, and I had to take care of business. I wasn't real happy with the outcome of that, and, I think we need to address it again. This town's dying, if you guys don't open your minds a little bit, your income's gonna be gone. I wanna work with you all, I wanna have a good time, I wanna have safe people and a good time out there. But I think this is the next step for us, or I wouldn't be here. I'd have tons of people want mixed drinks, margaritas, wine, everything else, and, I just don't think that was a very good deal last time. I wanted to talk to you and see what we can do to fix it.
Tim, did you let anybody know that you weren't gonna be attending the meeting?
I planned on being here, and I posted on a post on Facebook, and I won't mention no names, but I had a pig I was loading up to go to the locker the next day, and it got out, was out with my cows, chasing my cows, and I was covered in pig crap until 8 o'clock. And I had every intention on being here. My son-in-law was helping me, it was a mess. We tried to come on down here, but I don't think you'd want to smell us.
Well, I'll say it, you know, there was a poll came out on Facebook, which I don't always go off of what all it says there, but there was a,
Wow, I never printed my screen. Oh, you didn't get it printed?
that's okay. There was a pretty big outcry for support on it. I would guess 10 to 15 yeses per one no.
Last I heard it was 86 yeses and 4 no.
Okay, well, it was more than that.
So,
My opinion, we're here to represent the city of Chetopa, the residents of Chetopa. I'd love to reopen this to a vote again. That is my opinion. I've been there at nights with bands and stuff like that. I've not seen any unruly actions or anything like that. I know there's questions, Tim, about bigger concerts and stuff like that, patrolling it.
Well,
On your part, on patrolling it, because technically you are
in
liable.
this town, when you grow a business, everything's gotta grow.
Exactly,
And if somebody starts, we gotta grow the whole town, I agree.
yeah, well, I think that's a lot of what people wanna hear is the assurance that what happens there, you are liable for the actions of the people.
Well, to the extent we're all adults.
Well, exactly, but
And-
if, what I'm saying is if someone, the amount of consumption that gets served right there, if someone leaves and it's
Get out
going.
of hand if I have anything.
Exactly.
My
Yeah.
career was always pretty particular.
Yeah, and that, I think that's the assurance people want to hear.
We're very up on it, and, if we don't think you need any more, we should call.
Yep.
And if we think you've had too much, we're gonna take you home, or make sure you get home safe. I do not let anybody leave like that. As I stated the first time I come in here, I will take you home if I need you. And, that is not our purpose of wanting us, is to cause trouble.
Exactly.
Is to have something in town to go to.
I just, your purpose is to increase your ticket amount, increase your revenue.
Is
Just
to grow
say,
business.
now,
Yes, sir.
if you can't get this, will this suffer the business?
Very much, cause I'm done.
Okay, so this is the hinge.
If a business don't keep growing, I wouldn't make it on.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim, I'm just
I'll
asking,
explain.
do we need the revenue in the business to keep it alive?
Yes,
Because I
sir.
know about how
The
to
food
sell
wasn't
food.
making it, I went to the beer, and then it really wasn't making it, I went to the live bands, and oh man, it took off a little bit. And everybody's like, we don't drink beer, we'd love to stay. If you had mixed drink, we'd stay. And I've heard that multiple times a night. And there's always, we all know one beer is equivalent to one shot.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you drink 12 pack, you can drink 12 mixed drinks and be about the same.
And you would always be over the limit to drive.
Exactly.
But,
And
with
we
that being
talked about
said,
giving somebody that,
that
they're
being
running their
said,
own bus, kinda like Pittsburgh, if we have a show and we're worried about it, I'll have something lined up.
with that being said, we're trying to be here to support you. And when you weren't here last time, and we told you we'd give you a decision last time, all we needed was somebody or something to answer the questions. I understand things come up, but that's where the vote went last time. Now, how do we move forward?
I'd like to say a few things before anybody votes or brings up a motion.
We can't until we get another petition.
One of the major concerns that was brought to my attention, we need to have this young lady sign in, if you don't mind, after he's done, please. But one of the major concerns that was brought to my attention is anybody migrating from your property over into a city park.
most generally, you ain't gonna have that. I have had nobody at all, even on the 4th of July. I had people come over and have a beer or two, and then they go back. It was a good time, and no one had a problem. The only problem I
Just
had
fair
was
warning.
trespassers.
If somebody does go over there from your establishment and they're loitering in the city park, they will probably have to be arrested. Cause we have
I ride across
curfews.
the road, and I see a lot go on over there anyway, and it don't have nothing to do with me.
Well, we patrol it, but I'm
I
just
understand that, but I'm just letting you know that
telling you that
anything
part.
can happen at any time. I can't promise you somebody's going over it, but I will do my best to keep it from happening.
One of my other questions I was gonna ask you last time is, that's a concern and warning, but do you want to be a business that is inside of the city of Chetopa that participates with a lot of the things that we do here? And that's one of the big worries.
I plan on it.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I've done mentioned to Brett and Toby that I would buy a banner, so I'm not buying nothing. I'm not doing nothing until
Well, I'm just saying, like the 4th of July,
we took
Easter.
the corn all over
Yeah,
and had a good turnout, had a good time.
okay, so they did participate in the 4th of July, is what
If
I'm
there's
trying
no
to say.
funds there, there's no fun, you
Right.
know? And so far, we aren't struggling, but we're treading water. I mean,
Right.
I'm not gonna
You have to
spend
be
my
right,
part.
you have to buy.
I'm not spending my hard-earned money. I've done got 100,000 invested in that deal, and I'm not gonna spend any more until it starts coming afloat. And then when it comes afloat, I'll join in everything I can. I have not one problem with that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Additionally, I have said, and you know this, Tim, that I want, as far as I'm concerned, the city is here to try to help you succeed in your business. The other thought that keeps getting brought up to me is that RPD is very slim right now.
But how many times has your PD had to mess with us so far?
I'm not debating that issue, what I'm saying is we are very slim. So this adds a burden to the police department if it were to be, especially on a weekend, but
I'll do everything I can to help that out, I can promise that, and, it's like any other business, you gotta have to grow the PD, just like the whole town's gotta grow. Our ready mix, I get 50 customers, only got so many trucks, I gotta buy another truck, I mean, that's the way you grow. If you aren't growing as a town, you're done. It's like my business, treading water right now, I'm not saying I'm hurting in any way, I'm doing just great. But I'm not gonna sink a bunch of money in the city of Chetopa if I'm not gonna come to at least tread water.
understandable. And like I said, we wanna do everything we can to support you within reason. Now, Ernie mentioned that a petition would have to be,
I think that it would just have to ask, we had a vote last time, and he would have to ask for it again, and I don't know if there's a waiting period, I don't know anything. This is all new ground for us, folks, we've never had this before, so we really, it's all new ground.
I talked to ABC agent last night, and he said, all you guys gotta do is change your city code to allow it. Whatever you guys think, I mean, you can go around the locals and,
We don't have any city codes for it.
No, this is a total new thing.
you really don't have to have it, all you gotta do is pass it.
What is Shane's opinion on this here?
We need to pass that.
Actually,
Otherwise, we have to follow the state.
actually, we do have city code that covers private clubs and drinking establishments. Have you read those?
No, I have not.
It's under chapter 3.
Shane didn't hear the question.
Shane, we're asking you as city attorney for your input on how this could come back up for a revote, since it was voted down at the last meeting unanimously.
Well, I think if it requires a petition, it would have to be a resubmission of the petition. But I don't know that it would have to be a different petition, just enough to qualify to be brought before the city government.
For another petition.
And what does that mean?
And how many people, what percentage of the voting citizens in Chetopa would have to be requesting this?
Off the top of my head, I can't tell you, I'd have to look it up.
Anyway, we don't have an answer.
Well, let's just get it passed and go on, I mean, that.
There is the question is, are you asking for a type A, a B, or a C, which is a drinking
It's
establishment?
the drinking establishment.
DE, drinking establishment. And basically, I read it, it's one page, it's very vague. And there's some hours that are printed that you could operate and what have you. But again, to my knowledge, we've never had a hard liquor drinking establishment, so.
I heard there was one
Is
years
there an
ago.
age limit in that?
Age limit, it'd have to be 21.
Well, but see, we can override that, we can write statutes for the city that says that kids can go in there with their parents. And during, restaurant hours, and at 8 or 9 o'clock, then the kids wouldn't be allowed in there, and then you could serve drinks. You can serve drinks all through the dinner and stuff too, but they have to be accompanied by their parent.
Yeah.
It's not in that,
Yeah, it is.
it is,
It says no alcoholic beverages or cereal malt beverages shall be given, sold, or traded to any person under 21 years of age.
That's common law there.
Yeah.
What he's referring to is Kansas law is if I'm gonna have liquor, I gotta have a separate deal where the kids are not in there.
yeah.
And I wanna be able to serve you with your kids at your table. You're 21, they're not, and that's what we're talking about here.
So not in, back in the bar.
No, yeah, I don't wanna just have to keep it separate. I mean, you're gonna come in there and eat a steak with your kids, you ain't gonna wanna go back there and drink your drink and then come back out and,
Understand.
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, but according to the city attorney, a petition is required.
Oh, I believe so. I'd actually have to look. I think he just simply makes application and the city should make a decision. I don't know that it's put up to a public referendum. I've never
But we
seen it.
voted that application down,
Yeah, but he can bring it back up.
but you can bring it back up and it comes back in front of us.
That's the one here, where's the one at?
I have it.
Should be able to bring it back up, it's gonna be the same paper, just a different print on it.
And then we'll have to write the ordinances allowing them to have it.
You can put them in place anytime, it's gonna be a month, 2 months before I'm done, I mean, get ready. It's gonna cost me $6,000 to $10,000 just to get to state and liquor and set up.
Yeah, it's
I
expensive.
mean, it's not gonna be an overnight deal.
Yep.
Okay, at this point, is there anybody in the public that has a different opinion? In other words, that would vote no or nay? If you would like to be recognized. Would you like to take the podium and speak?
I would like to.
Go ahead.
As a minister, I hope that we can maintain a decorum in our community that doesn't have to involve alcoholic drinking. I shudder to think that our entire the well-being, the financial well-being of our community rests on whether or not we have drinking, being able to serve hard liquor by the drink in our community. And I love this town. I think the world of this town. We work our hearts out to try to support this town and do all that we can to move it forward. But as a member of the spiritual part, to me, alcohol tends to bring people down rather than lift them up. My family has struggled with alcoholism, and anyway, it's just my feeling is I hope that our town would be able to survive without having to resort to allowing drinking hard liquor by the drink.
Okay, thank you both. Go ahead, sir.
You know, I live about 3 blocks from there, and the music that I hear coming from
Would you
there.
introduce yourself, please? And I didn't ask Mr. Fraser to do that.
My name is Joe Durnell. I was one of the no's on mine.
Okay, Joe, go ahead.
I live about 3 blocks from there, and they had an outdoor band one night.
It was a comedian, yeah.
It was foul.
It was.
So you throw some alcohol in that, I don't hear it. I really don't. And if one person gets hurt in an accident, you guys, is it worth it? And I know there's responsible people who can drink, but if somebody leaves there drinking or drunk, intoxicated, if one person gets hurt, is it worth it? I don't think it is.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir, introduce yourself, please.
I'm Bradley Wagner. I'm at First Christian. I have a question for you. So you're willing to go into this and make liquor applicable for anybody? Well, for the people that come in for 21, obviously, you've stated. Now, my counter question is, are you also willing to work with the people who have the addiction? As I've been here a short while.
This fellow was in there just the other day.
But he's at my church, I'm working with him specifically, so that's why I'm asking this, because I haven't been here very long, and I've noticed that there's a huge addiction problem in this town. Now, this is something that runs pretty rampant with most people. Now, I'm asking you, if you're willing to go through all of this to make this a substance that you want to have in here, are you likewise willing to work with people like me and people like Randy and work with the people who do struggle with this? Make a safe environment for them too, that some people who have been hurt by this substance don't have to have their families ripped apart by this because somebody gets addicted again or substance gets brought into a home. What are you willing to do to kind of work with us to help that in making a whole community without ripping this apart?
It's gonna be no different than going to any establishment job. You go at 8 o'clock, then it goes to the other stage, and if you're uncomfortable with the drinking, that'd be the, I'll let you know, that'd be the time that everybody that is not comfortable with the drinking. But the average person goes to Joplin, and they get a steak, and I buy a mixed drink every time, and I know bunches of people do. It's no different than Longhorns, Applebee's, Texas Roadhouse. I'm not asking to corrupt all the people coming in there. I mean, I do have morals. I was raised religious. My father was a pastor my whole time coming up. It's not like it's something new to me. No, I'm not trying to corrupt anybody. And that's what you're asking. I offered him to have you guys could have your meeting. I'll open it up on Wednesday night if that's what you guys wanna do and have dinner. There won't be nobody there but you guys. I keep all my beer in a cooler. No one sees it. I got some on top. I can take them down. And I have no problem helping churches. If you guys need a place.
Well, the idea is to be safe about this. So when you're bringing up examples like Joplin, this community is not big as Joplin. Longhorn Steakhouse probably has more people frequent it from 8 to midnight or 8 to 2 than this town has seen. So we have Jason and Devon, and Joplin has hundreds of police officers. So how they're making the case that we have 2, could we maybe make the numbers more consistent with what we see at an example of like a Longhorn without risking this?
My numbers ain't gonna be nothing like Longhorn do compared to Longhorn. I mean, your officers here should have no problem with me. I don't remember when my cereal beverage license came into effect, it's been 4 or 5 months, well, July 4th. And I have had no problems.
Well, here's why I'm asking this. Because my understanding of the town, and if anybody has any other information, but Jason or Devon would be the first responders to this. So now, if you actually had an accident, which alcohol involved just increases the likelihood of that, that would then detain one of our only officers available for the entire rest of the town. So my counter to you would be, could you work with us that maybe you presented a timeline that we might be able to bring on more help for the police, that we could actually sustain this without having some sort of problem, that we could work together? Because I don't believe you're being harmful or malicious at all, but I do want to make sure that the boundaries in place are set properly, that we're not exhausting the few resources that we do have.
And again, we've been selling alcohol since July, and we've had no problem. What makes you think that all of a sudden, just because we've got a mixed drink, which is equivalent, 1 beer, 1 mixed drink, what makes you think it's gonna get that much worse?
Study on alcohol of any kind.
I've studied it since I was 18 years old, and it's gonna depend on you as a person, and me as a businessman to shut you down.
Well,
that's what we've been talking about.
That's a subjective reality. So as far as this, would then I be able to trust you to be a subjective reality, to be able to stop somebody else or to know their limit? That would be the question that I would have for you. So in this case, what do you do if there is an accident?
We've already done it.
Or we get 3 minutes.
An accident, you mean on the street?
3 minutes.
That can happen anywhere. One of the main replies on Facebook was, well, I go to the store and I can get a bottle and drive around and drink it. Well, who's gonna be taking that money? You know, I mean, you can point fingers at it all day long, and it isn't gonna matter, it's gonna be used as an adult, how you handle it.
Okay, great interaction. I'm gonna call it. Is there any more discussion? Okay, I'm gonna place it back in the council's, side of the ballpark. Is there any action to be taken?
Did we reapply?
Yep.
So I believe it needs to go to vote.
You wanted to
I have a
go,
question. Can I ask you a question?
Sure can.
Okay, so do you have like a bouncer per se? Do you, so it's you, so you're
I
the
got
person
me, this one, and that big boy back here that'll take care of you if you
that's,
get
okay,
it
okay. So say you have a larger event,
I'll have plenty of hands there, just like we do every time.
okay, you'd have designated, okay.
Yes, exactly, that's,
That was my question.
I'll do my best for the city.
We block everything off.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then as far as what I heard about the noise and the sound, we're working on that.
Yes, I'll get blocks in there and I'll make a wall around that side. I don't know, I had him set up this way and I need to have him set up to the east on the next one if we're gonna do it there. I'll do my best.
Okay,
But, now, I agree with him, that was very low overdue, and, I didn't realize how bad that was gonna be, or I wouldn't have got outside.
Betsy has a question for you.
I'm the one that made the motion to deny your application. And my concern is that you pointed out on the drawing that you have that you intend to do a lounge in the back, okay? There's people coming out of the lounge into the restaurant, maybe you've had one too many drinks, and I've got my grandkids in there. I'm concerned about not having a place, because we need a restaurant in town really, really bad, and you're doing that to help us out. But I'm concerned about the people coming from the lounge or getting their drinking, that are gonna upset my grandkids. My
Well, Betsy, I've been open
great-grandkids,
since
I'm
March. Have I seen you in there yet?
No, I have not been in there, I don't eat out.
All I can do is tell you that we're gonna do our best, and, if we see an issue coming up with people stumbling around drunk like that, I'll put another entrance in, and I don't want them leaving like that anyway. If they're stumbling out of the lounge part out, I don't want them leaving like that anyway. All my group knows, we're gonna offer them a ride home and, you know, a safe, make sure they get home safe one way or another. But, you know, I can't force them to let me take them home.
No,
I mean, I'm gonna do my best, though. I can promise you that.
Okay, so lastly, I would like to mention, and I think I'm right on this, that this has to be renewed every year, every 2 years, okay? And it's a $500 fee, is that,
1,000 a year, it's 2,000 to do it every time.
and the city fee is $500?
No, I don't know what your fee is.
No, we talked about $250.
And that's, again, that's awful steep when, you know, a cereal malt beverage is no different. We all know a drink is a drink. I think that's kinda, you know, that's 150% more than beer
Okay, it's $500 biannually, so that's it every 2 years
for the city.
for the city's fee.
I still think it's kind of got lines.
I couldn't find that.
Well, you guys do realize that liquor gets taxed 3 times before it goes to the consumer in my place. The liquor store gets taxed when he buys it, I have to buy it from the liquor store, and he taxes me, and then when I sell it to the consumer, they're taxed, and you're getting at least 2 rounds of taxes off that. And that's gotta help out the city some.
Just trying to make sure everybody's well informed and straight before we go any further on what's required and what is asked of you and what's asked of us. Okay, again, are there any motions to be made, council?
I'll make a motion to bring it back up to vote.
Second.
You making a motion that motion?
I'll second.
I think I'm good with that.
I've got a motion by Justin, a second by Ernie to bring the hard liquor license for the Dam Diner Mr. Tim Gilbert. Thank you. Up for a vote again. I was gonna say Durham, but it wouldn't be accurate. All those in favor? And I'm gonna need a roll call vote on this because it's such a touchy subject, please.
Wolf,
Yes.
Coates, Bentley,
Yes.
Navy,
Yes.
Seaman, Morgan. You said yes?
So we have 4 yeses, 2 nays. Motion passes 4-2. That's it, you're good.
Thank you.
We'll get the,
I'll get this signed and back to you.
You gotta do me when it comes in.
The same thing goes the other way too.
He's got a month before we're gonna be ready to roll, we have to get rolling on that order.
Yeah.
Tell Shane what you're wanting.
Somebody's at the first.
the problem is, the way this map is written, if he would just keep this in the bar area, and not going to the restaurant with it, it would be okay, to be separate. And I think that's what Betsy did.
Ultimately, yes.
I get that.
So do you need to show up to look into this? Tell me what you're
Yes.
But you guys agreed for me to send this application. This is his first step. He turns in his application. What's your step to sign it?
Then he has to know, I guess, $500 bill sitting there.
500 biennial, sir, 250.
250, okay.
I was right on 250.
Yes.
It's in chapter 4, article 5.
You take a break, all right.
Well, I still got one. Okay, moving on. And everybody that was here, that was concerned with that's free to leave if you want. And you can say, and this is the rest of the meeting. We're gonna go around the horn now. I think I'll start with the council, so. Jessica, what do you have tonight?
I have nothing. I had people come up to me with concerns about this, but we just,
You solved it?
I don't mess with you.
Okay, nothing? Justin?
Just what we discussed a while ago, Bob Bruce sent me a message earlier today, wanting to know fire code for personnel to be allowed inside the, council meeting area here, so I told him I believe it was a, fire marshal issue. So I contacted our, local state fire marshal, he guided me kind of in the right direction on, there's really no state ordinance on, amount of people that can be in a building like that. It is a city ordinance. He kind of showed me, or he talked to some people above him, on kind of the guidelines that they go by. And it's by no means trying to keep people out of here, it's just trying to keep safety first and everything like that. But, basically what he discussed with me is what is recommended by the state is, per square foot we per room like this, if there's one exit only, you can have no more than 49 people in the room, which we have two, so we were all right on that. But then he said, the standard guideline for that, after that, he asked me if it was standing room, sitting room. He said that depends on the amount of people too, that they recommend. It was, for standing was, one person in a 5 foot square area, a 5 square foot area, sorry. And for setting was one person in a 7 square foot area. So he said the best thing to do, since we technically do have some to stand, some to set, was to average that out to 6 square foot. I came in here, measured the square foot of this room, not thinking off of it right off the get-go. That would allow 145 people in this room, which is beyond
Everybody stand on the square.
Yeah, and then got to thinking about it, and Amy said something that made me think, we have tables, we have everything like that. We have the council area, so before the meeting here today, I kind of measured the setting area right here to go off of that. Basically by that, a 12 by 25 foot area over there was about 300 square foot, which would allow 50 people to attend a meeting. And then I figured our council area, room for supervisors and everything like that, 65 people per meeting seems safe to me, not overcrowded. I don't think we've ever came close to that. I don't
We're
know.
at 40, yes.
We had 40 for this, so that was a pretty good showing right there.
Yes.
But that was something that we don't have posted on anything like that, and like they said, that comes up to, the city to make an ordinance like that, and I think that is something that we do need to address here.
For liability purposes, if there's nothing else, we need to have some.
We need to have a maximum occupancy in this building.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
We're
it's
going
to,
for 65.
I'd say that.
I think 65 is safe. If we have 65, we're pretty loaded right now. So.
And we noted we have a fire extinguisher in the back of the room already, so.
Bob brought that up to me, like I said, I discussed that with our state fire marshal, and that's kind of what I've drawn from it. It's kind of quick acting, but something that probably needs to be addressed.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Got anything else?
That's it for now.
So 65 max.
We need to make a motion to have more than that.
Okay. So Justin made a motion to write an ordinance on max occupancy for the council room at 65 persons.
I'll second it.
Got a second by Betsy. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Make notes on that.
Yes.
Max occupancy.
Okay, Chuck?
I haven't had anything.
Betsy?
No.
Ernie?
It's more of a statement. I'm going to, start a committee, and I'm gonna start a committee of citizens and not have maybe one other councilman involved in this committee. And what it's gonna do is going to address, businesses and their wants, needs, gripes, complaints. And also within that, I want to, add the addition of, ordinance, mediation and remediation. So that's what I'm gonna start.
We have an ordinance committee.
Now, I'm gonna start an individual with the citizens committee, which is going to bridge the gap between council and citizens.
kind of what the mayor does?
No,
No?
Are you intending on holding meetings?
no, I'm
Forum?
I'm intending on notifying the public through saying this right now, that I will be out with some other people and some other associates, and we'll be talking to businesses and seeing if there's anything they need, because some of them think that their voices are not being heard.
Okay, so you're gonna bring it to the council?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we should, reword our ordinance committee then, because we've got industrial and property, that which you're on, by the way. Actually, we've got Jess and Justin on ordinance, so maybe that's the council person you ought to go ahead and hook up with now. These two. If I'm still here in January, we can relook at who's on what committees, because that's my prerogative. Once we go into the new year, I believe we can do some mix and matching if we want to. I have been asked in the past, and I think some of you that's been here a while, you were asked your preferences too, on what committees you'd like to serve on. Generally, the longer you've been on, the more priority you get on what you would like to stay or sit on. But, okay, thank you for that, Ernie. And maybe I'd like the word liaison better in the committee, but I know.
I like that word too.
I like where you're going with it.
I'm not a 10-cent word guy.
What'd you say?
That's a good word.
Liaison?
Liaison.
Okay. Shane, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
Well, just what's on the business, but I can bring it up now.
Go ahead, while your voice is still with us. Go ahead.
Regarding ICA restitution, deadline on that letter is Friday. We checked with the post office today. They haven't been able to make contact. They're setting it up for another attempted contact. I do not have a signed receipt back yet. In the alternative, I may go ahead and forward it to the school where she works. As far as I know, we still have the correct address in Joplin. If it's changed, I don't know that, and that's where I directed it to. On the issue of the tap fee ordinance, I just was out of town last week. I went to Charleston, South Carolina to see my cousin for Thanksgiving, so I'll get that done shortly. I've just been gone.
Okay, and speaking of that sewer water tap issue, we need to, and where's Kristen? She said that. We need to make sure that any work orders that have been submitted prior to any of these ordinances being passed, that they're grandfathered. And I would like to see that list when we can put it together. Because
And one other additional thing, it's not on the agenda, but I received your proposal on the issue of containers. It's my understanding that that is sufficient for what is wanted, so I will put together an ordinance regarding that as well, on storage containers.
okay. And what he's referring to, I haven't passed this to the council because I wanted to get it in an ordinance type format on the shipping containers. I went ahead and put a top 10 list, let's call it, of best things that I saw when I combined all the inputs that Shane had provided from other cities. What I didn't address, and he brought up, and I intentionally did not, is whether we're gonna discuss permanent or temporary. Because I think that should be discussed on an individual basis as they come to us on a building permit, whether it's going to be temporary or permanent. And we can decide at that point what we wanna do. But that'll be in your packets for the next meeting.
But if that is going to be a provision, we'll have to build it into the ordinance.
Okay, so another line item in there? Okay, and you can add that if you want, but I had answered a question, but it may not have got back to you yet.
Well, I'd rather see it in the wording that the council jointly prefers. I don't want to make it up for you. I just didn't, I just put into effect what you want in terms of that regulation.
Right. They haven't seen anything yet, so, if you wanna add that as another line when you write it, that's fine with me.
Well, I'll see what I can do. They should probably see what has been proposed anyway for input before I draft.
Do you have it
I have copies for everyone,
right now?
on my desk.
Okay, we'll pass them out tonight then, for everybody.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Shane. Utility bookkeeper, city treasurer.
I don't have anything.
Okay. While we're on that subject, I have one more comment. I just need to tell the council that about a month ago, when we approved all the water adjustments for leaks, that ended up being over $2,000 in loss to the city, through no fault of the city, by the way. You might want to reconsider how we're calculating the water adjustments. I talked with Crystal about it. She has some, I think, very valid ideas that maybe we should do a 50-50 or a percentage instead of writing all down to city cost. That one individual was over $1,200 that we lost, and we didn't do anything wrong as a city. To me,
The other side of that is, whenever they have a leak, the water doesn't ever enter into the sewer unless it's a run-through toilet. And so I will agree with the run-through toilet because it does enter into our sewer. But when it gets cold and the water line breaks and we don't notify them that their water line is broken and it runs for days and months, then that is part of the city's problem too.
well, this individual, I believe the break was inside their basement, and it didn't get caught because they don't read their meters except every 3 months when they're out of city limits, and that's on them, not us. The other thing that came to mind after I was done with it, or we were done with it, and I thought about it, was that I remember when I was sitting in that chair that we turned the landlord down on our water adjustment because his renter took it off with a broken toilet something or another, and it ran for a month or two, and he didn't know about it. And we did not give him a water adjustment because he had the utilities in his name still and not in
And that was the conflict of interest right there, is that there was a person living in his dwelling and the utilities was in his name. So they had nobody to contact. There was an indifference in the way that they contacted somebody.
Well, it ended up being a relation, if you remember. And the same thing was with this incident, was the landlord, whoever owned the house, still had the utilities in their name. That's why they were the ones that came here to ask for the adjustment. So we're not being consistent, but also the city is taking on more of that fault than I think we should. When somebody has a problem.
I can see in a certain situation, but when the weather changes and people have breaks and they don't know that it's leaking out there in the yard, or even if that frost-free hydrant out there plugged up and it's running all the time, they shut it off the way they should have. It's just by some chance that it happens. And I think the greater side of that is maybe we need to look at more of a 50-50 on certain things. We can adjust, and instead of just doing a blanket move. And I will agree with that.
And, in addition, that there was one, I believe, that had been here twice inside of 12 months.
Yeah.
So, that's my point to you, council, is maybe we shouldn't jump so far, so fast on those water adjustments, because the city, water's not cheap, and we're charging other people extra money now for their water. Okay, enough said. Clerk.
I need to ask for approval for small bucket truck repairs, our electric bucket. It's gotta have all the injectors redone, the glow plug harness, intake gaskets, you guys can look at the estimate. But it's $3,200, but we've gotta have that truck. Right now, he's not.
You not?
Right. He could get me in if we get this approved.
We haven't done much repair to that little bucket truck that I recall, other than the boom we changed out. But, the mechanics on it, it's been a good vehicle for this city. But it needs engine work now.
Is that over here?
Well, he had a little bit of, it's back over here, anyway.
Right, yeah. He took it for the court.
Alright.
And while we're talking vehicles, I'll let you know too that I authorized $700 in new tires for the skid steer. They were bald. Those came in yesterday
Got him on today.
and they're installed on it. So with the snow coming in the winter time and ice, those tires weren't gonna move that skid very far anywhere. And actually one of them was
One that's
punctured.
completely blown out.
Yeah.
I remember when we put those on.
Yeah, they're all went out.
Yeah, no, I remember when we did that.
How long ago do you figure that was? We were trying to just,
I'm in my memory bank right now, back 4.
4 years?
Yeah, I think Brian is still here.
I didn't think it happened in my time. That sounds right.
Make a motion to have the bucket truck fixed.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Ernie and a second by Justin to authorize, an estimated $3,200 to repair the little bucket truck. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes, thank you.
That's all I had.
Police chief.
Alright, I actually have a statement that there's an issue that needs to be addressed.
Could we get you up to the podium, please?
Yeah.
If it's gonna be long term.
Just take a few minutes, I'm gonna just go over some highlights, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I've said this before, and I'll say it now. As a law enforcement officer and a member of the governing body, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard. We seem to have an issue with some authority. If I pull over a citizen and they have a headlight out, if I pull over a citizen and they're doing something wrong, they're gonna expect a ticket. They're gonna expect a warning, we'll give a warning. We got a recent confrontation with a sitting council member and a police officer while he was performing his lawful duties. It's created a crisis of confidence, safety, and leadership in this city. The time for decisive action has arrived. This is a continuing pattern. This is not the first time that has happened with this individual. I'm going to explain what KSA 215904 is. It's interference with a law enforcement officer. No individual at all has the right or is permitted to obstruct, oppose, or hinder an officer in the execution of his official duties. I would say that goes even more so for a city council member or a member of the governing body. When a council member confronts the officer while they're doing their lawful job duties, it threatens the safety of the officer, citizens, and the public at large. It also places this city in legal jeopardy. This conduct cannot be dismissed as personal style misandering or just how things are. The attitude with the rules do not apply to me. It's an attitude that's incompatible with public service. It's incompatible with public safety, and it's incompatible with continued leadership in this city. We've already paid the price once. We had a police department that completely walked off. We were trying to rebuild. My officers have stated to me that they will not work for a city that will not stand behind them, especially with their governing body. Make no own state, this is exactly the type of conduct that causes officers to resign, candidates to withdraw, and departments to collapse. If these officers walk again, it leaves me alone again. I did that for months. It is not something I'm willing to do again. I am asking the council to take some type of action disciplinary wise to put a stop to this. It is a continued pattern. I have statements from other agencies. The same individual has run-ins with them. I have body cam footage. I have written statements from city officials, from city employees, and multiple officers. I'm asking now that you guys do something about it before we have another walk-off. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna state on this as president of the council right here, I stand behind our law enforcement. This is not the first time this issue's happened. I don't know how many times actually, I believe it's 3, and I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'm tired of it. We have fought and fought and fought and fought for our law enforcement right here to get where we are at right now, and I'm not willing to lose them over the actions of a council member. So with that being said, I'm gonna ask for your resignation, Chuck, as a member of this council.
Legislature with their support.
Any other discussion? Any other opinions?
Well, is there anything else we can do? I mean, why should we have to wait till somebody goes to court? You know how that works now. Shane,
Yes, I couldn't hear what's the question.
would we have to wait until somebody wanted to go to court, or they could go to court? How does that work?
Are you talking about a removal, or are you talking about them having charges? I'm not understanding.
Removal.
The removal process is done through district court. Packet has to be prepared, submitted to them regarding the issues, and they can proceed. It's my understanding also the League of Municipalities may have a manner in which to proceed, but I'm not familiar with it.
So I actually have talked to the league. The Attorney General will be in a conference with me tomorrow over this situation. They are going to be past the body cam footage. There were criminal charges on this one, but as a council member, threatening to sue an officer for doing their job makes officers not want to do their jobs. And when you mention that you're a council member multiple times, and when you want to quote laws that don't exist, it just shows an egregious misuse of power. So the Attorney General has actually been notified about this, and the league has as well, so I'll be talking with them tomorrow. And this will also be added to the ouster process that was filed several months ago.
I don't know if this works, but I read somewhere, Shane, that the citizens of the community can vote, no confidence in a city councilman.
I don't know, I've never heard of that, but I will look it up. I've never heard of that. It is an elected position, but I don't know that the voters can unelect someone.
They can do a recall.
You can do a recall.
Well, yeah, a recall petition could be submitted with sufficient signatures. That's one manner. The only other manner I'm aware of is proceedings by statute have to be taken up by the county attorney's office to file an action. And of course, the accused party has the right to hire counsel, defend that action. There would be a trial in front of a district court judge, and a determination would be made.
Any other comments? Okay, the way I see it, President of the council asked for a councilman's resignation. This councilman has rejected that pending litigation. And if guess the issue is tabled. Okay, moving on to, does that satisfy Shane legally?
Yeah, that's correct. If the council desires action, they'll need to put a packet together with all allegations that they believe are improper. It'll be presented to the county attorney's office for their review and determination as to whether they will file an action or not. That's my understanding of the procedure.
Okay. And we've been down this road before, right? Same thing? Where it goes to the county?
It's been discussed in the past, but the procedures haven't changed. The council itself cannot remove someone.
Right.
It's an elected position, so you have the option of a recall petition with sufficient votes, or the other option, as I just explained.
Okay. Can you give us the status on the previous?
I will. I haven't talked. I turned it over to the assistant county attorney. I hate to speak ill, but not of him. His workload is massive. Disproportionately so, in my opinion, compared to who's in charge there. So he's busy, but I will speak with him about that again. If other materials want to be gathered and presented to me, I will also approach him with that and ask him to review everything and make a decision.
Okay, so nothing has been done up to this point that you're aware of? Is that right?
No, but I haven't talked to him about it in a long time, but I realize he's handling some very serious cases right now, and he's very busy. In fact, one day out of the month, he's even out of county on it's a separate court that's held by one of our judges here, but it's all held in Crawford County, so he's very busy.
Wheels of justice. Okay, thank you. Yes,
Is
ma'am.
this something that should have been done in executive
No,
session?
I don't believe so,
Okay.
because
Does
it's,
Chuck have a chance to defend himself in front of the council and other people that are here?
yeah.
I'd like to see the 30 things you got, all the documents you just said, you just told you had up there, let me see it.
I can show them to you,
Well, let
you
me
go
see
through the
it.
legal process, but I'm sure you're well aware of the confrontation.
No, let me see it, you just said you had them all, you had the documents for all the petitions, the people in town, and
Subpoena them, but don't change my words. I said I have city employees that have filed.
you had
That's
city
also-
employees.
I have statements from multiple. But you can have your attorney sequester those.
Procedurally speaking, those records would go to the county attorney. If litigation ensued, then the accused person would have every right to hire their own counsel and conduct discovery and obtain those materials in that fashion
Okay.
through the rules of discovery.
Chuck, do you want to say anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on. Looks like old business is up next. Willow Street lift station generator repair.
I still haven't been down there to wrap the exhaust.
And we have talked about the storage container ordinance already and Officer Eckler's restitution. Russell Creek Engineering, have we moved in anything on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get over there, set that as a poll Friday, closing. And Miles, Conway, where it's at, so hopefully miss it, go on hold, because it's one of the keys in the shop. Once two of us still on the ground.
So Friday, we're gonna try to do something?
Yeah, try to set that as a poll Friday, and that platform's gonna be good.
Okay, thank you. Solid Waste Committee meeting, I meant to brief this at the last meeting, cause I just got out of that a day or two before, but, I'm trying to keep you all updated because I see a real problem coming at us. When we left the meeting, my understanding was that the ball was in the attorney's courts now. The bottom line for the city is we need to have a plan B for what we're gonna do with our garbage. if we can't take it to Parsons. I asked Amy to look into the Cherryville, transfer station over there, which I feel is probably gonna be our best option. And I don't wanna speak out of turn here, because some of this stuff was discussed in executive session, but, the gist of it is, the current company that's handling the transfer station wants a 40% raise, and nobody had even had a chance to budget for that this year or next. They already get a 2% raise every year just for what I call a COLA. And I finally did get a copy of the 2005 original contract that they signed. And so I read through that document, and it was for 15 years, I believe. So it would have been through 2020. And then there was an amendment document to that in 2020. So I think, and our county attorney feels like that we've got a really good leg to stand on in court, and that the $150,000 walk-away fee that they may be subject to, if we went to jury trial, could be a lot more than that, because that was negotiated 20 years ago. And so, and we might even be entitled to damages, he said, if they do walk on us, because we don't have anywhere to take our trash. So, the one thing that I haven't looked into is the feasibility of taking our trash south into Oklahoma somewhere. Everybody forgets we're closer to Oklahoma than we are Parsons, but.
Absolutely. Same in Cherokee County too.
So council, what I'd ask of you, if you got any ideas or any contacts that, have somewhere, landfills or whatever, where we can dump trash, at least temporarily, we might be looking into that and what the cost might be. The magic number up there is, right now, is $45 a ton, and they're wanting 65 in January.
Was Cherryville going to give us a way to look?
I've got to do it with them.
They transfer over to Independence, don't they, in Montgomery County, right?
They're looking at building one near Cherry.
Oh, okay.
They're doing Galena too, don't they?
You know, we've had that discussion about the one in Galena, and I've been over there by it, and I thought it was a landfill, but.
No, it's not a landfill, it's transfer. Everything's a shopping company, it's not there, they just pick it up, load it in other trucks and haul it out.
I know, I can tell you that ours goes to Arcadia, Missouri. Now, sometime when you're over there, if you would like to look into that and get a definite answer, I'd appreciate that.
We'll call Bill tomorrow and ask him.
But,
Mayor, just for example, what is our tonnage that we're dropping off on a weekly basis over there?
I'm so glad you asked that question.
I just think everybody should know how much tonnage we're dealing with here in Chetopa.
Yeah, Amy gave me some really good documentation to go load me up when I went up there. Let me find it here. Through August of this year, we dropped, I'm gonna round it off, 50 tons.
50 ton.
And it cost us, no, wait a minute, that was in 1 month, excuse me.
Yeah.
Totally, we sent 364 tons at about $16,500. That's what it cost us to dump. And that was at I calculated a $45.14 rate. So if you wanna see what what it would cost us, and which we haven't budgeted anything more than that, just add that $20 per ton.
Yeah.
And if you need printouts and that documentation, Amy can provide it for you, pretty simple. But at this point, I just wanna keep you and the public informed that we're up against a crisis on track.
Would we save any money by trying to do some type of recycling?
Nobody recycles, that was brought up, and
I think it costs more to recycle.
it actually does.
I think it costs more to recycle actually than as as bad as that sounds.
You would have,
That
yeah,
does.
you'd have to raise revenue to have a recycling ability.
Well, and we'd have to set up a whole system to do it.
That's what I mean, it would raise revenue, you'd have to buy all the stuff, and then you'd have to ship stuff here, there, everywhere.
Where I came from, we had different bins that we set out with our trash
Me
for
too.
cans and cardboard, different types of plastics, but you got a reduction in your cost by doing recycling, but
I know Columbus has a recycling.
they do.
It's a dump, or it's a dumpster or something like that, but I don't think it's city owned.
Well, I mean, you
I
know,
don't believe it's.
I know a lot of other little towns that they have a dumpster set up in town for people to put other stuff in it, and then there's the people that go and they take the metal out, and then they kind of recycle out of it to make a buck. You know, I don't know that we wanna do something like that, but you see what I'm saying? It all goes in the landfill,
Yeah.
right? Or it all goes into the transfer station, but if it was something somebody could recycle, I don't know.
The,
I don't know, we're supposed to have less.
I know people that have the dumpsters, like the big dumpsters at Great Plains. You know, I've had dumpster raiders behind our rent house there, and you talk to owners of them. The people that come, it's actually against the law for people to raid the dump, because they're actually taking away profit from this business's job. So, yeah, I mentioned to him about a dumpster raider before, and he's not very happy about it. Because I was taken from his profit.
And I'll tell you some more things that were discussed since we're on the subject, and I may have mentioned it before, but there was also a fact-finding team that went down to Tulsa where they have an incinerator built that actually produces steam. You know about this? And we're talking millions of dollars, but the county is searching for answers, and we actually had a state representative come in and talk to us about it, but that's a 10-year lead time on something like that. So even if we solve this issue for now, we need to be looking further ahead. Of course, this is all money. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this part out there too. The city of Parsons is amicable about manning the transfer station if they were to get some assistance from the participating cities, i.e. would we be willing to send one of our employees up there one day a week to work the transfer station? Negotiable. That would be something that I'd bring to the city council for a vote.
There's also one other, idea or something that's been passed out there is that, we just don't pick up trash anymore. And that we allow the citizens to find their own trash company.
Amy, did you say this is one of the few departments that is actually
It does.
self-funded?
It does.
Yes.
It does until, until, that might be the deciding factor.
Well, and right, wrong, or indifferent, and I know the EPA is probably gonna overhear this, but I mentioned if people could burn some of their trash.
Oh, man.
In their fireplaces or whatever, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's not something that
We're
you
not
want.
saying do that.
No, I'm not
No.
saying, but
I
I'm
grew up
telling
that
you,
way.
what I'm telling you is what was discussed.
Yeah.
I don't think the fire chief would like that.
But, one other thing is that the company that runs the transfer station hires out the transportation from there over to Arcadia. And this company, the truckers are out of Texas somewhere. And by contract, they were given that authority to hire, and that's something that the committee is looking at. Maybe we could find a better deal. Because we don't know what that cost is, but it must be beneficial. Finally, the way way the vote ended up when we left was that the county attorney was gonna start dealing with the GFL attorneys. That's where we're at, so it's probably beyond anybody's negotiation at this point. They were threatening to walk 1 January, which you were inside 30 days now. If that happens, we'll know by New Year's Day what our status is. Okay, sewer tax fee ordinance, I think Shane's already, talked about that. This is the one we're gonna vote on next time, right? The sewer. Okay, so moving on to new business. Court clerk, payroll clerk appointment. We interviewed several candidates a week or two ago, well, about a week ago, I guess. Plenty of eligibles and well-qualified folks, and it was a hard decision to make, but a young lady by the name of Miley George was selected by the committee. She came in for an orientation yesterday, but I'd like to put that across the council for a vote to hire her at $17 an hour.
So you're appointing her,
I'm appointing,
and they're confirming that.
I need my appointment. So I got a motion by Justin to confirm the appointment of Miley George at $17 an hour to the city court and payroll clerk position. Second by Betsy, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I would like probably just to go ahead and recuse yourself since you were an applicant. Okay, thank you. So I have a 5 to, and 1 abstain, please. Can you think of anything else, clerk?
No.
Okay. I had an executive session, but in light of the length of this meeting, I think I'm gonna rescind that, so. Any other issues, discussions, going around the room? We'll just mention finally in the end that we do have the parade is Wednesday, coming up. The city has a float, and we're gonna pull the train, right? The kids' train?
Yes.
The grand marshals are Bob and Tony Overman, longtime business, and I think both were born and raised here as well, at least as far as I know. So a great selection by the chamber. Chamber did install new officers last night, or at least vote on it. We have a new vice president of the chamber, which sits on the council.
Who's the new vice president?
Who is?
By default, no, she didn't, but anyway, at least she can keep us, and of course, Amy and Crystal go too, but they keep us informed on what's going on. And there's a connection there with the city too that I really appreciate. And then don't forget the employees' Christmas party is the 13th, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need to discuss that. Okay, you're doing the meet, right? Or you're doing, okay.
Yeah.
So, we just need to decide what all of us are gonna do.
And what about?
I'll bring the water, speaking of guys.
No, I thought we were gonna do, huh?
I thought we
I
did,
thought we were gonna do something fun.
okay, but do we need to set a dollar amount?
Probably.
Does that sound right? Isn't that what our total was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We need to make a decision on that tonight, though, don't we?
Yeah, cause we haven't even.
Yeah, you wanna spend the money out of the coffers.
That's what we did in 2024. I mean, 2023.
13.
And that's how many we have right now.
At least.
That was just a gift card. But if
Yeah,
she
we're
wanted
not gonna do, yeah, we don't wanna do it.
I didn't
We
think.
wanna do it like we used to.
Okay, so what's your magic number, Linda?
Do it.
What's the magic number that we need to approve?
Remember what we used to do, 2,500? I think it was.
Am I right, Amy?
Close.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Yeah.
When you add a little COLA there. So you wanna make that motion?
Okay, make a motion that we spend $2,500 on Christmas gifts.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Linda and a second by Ernie to authorize $2,500 for the employee gifts. The Christmas fund.
Carpet was always a good one to do that.
Now you're going way.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. I'm just making sure nobody went up.
What, do we have more employees than what we already have?
Times are hard, times are hard.
We have 15.
Okay, Linda, you're up.
Oh, motion adjourned.
Okay, got a motion by Linda, second by Justin to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.